Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats, my magic and mostly mentalism review show. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about Mental Voice, released by Blackbox Magic Creations. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So we are almost to the end of 2023, and I'm almost down to my last and final couple of shows to perform for the year. But I will have some more time, so I do hope that I will be able to get in some more of these episodes of Nick Tan Chats for you guys on YouTube. So on today's episode, I'll be talking to you guys about something that, well, I'm not sure if I'm qualified to speak about because it deals with a device that I'm not really familiar with. Okay, I've not got any experience using such a device. Okay, and well, I mean, if you followed my channel for some time, you will know that the material that I enjoy performing, that I use professionally, all deals with kind of low-tech approaches, right? Low-tech methods as well. Well, when it comes to electronics, I mean, I do know of them. I've dabbled with them for a little bit, but I don't really use them in my shows. All right, now that's a different conversation altogether. But yeah, today's device, all right, something called Mental Voice, falls into that category. Okay, it's electronic. It deals with tech. I will just give you, I guess, a very matter-of-fact, informative kind of an episode, I suppose, all right? Because I'm also unable to compare it with other devices that are similar. Again, it's because I just don't have any of them, all right? I've got no experience using them at all. And I think many of you out there would be more qualified than me, to discuss, and compare and contrast Mental Voice along with those devices that have been released previously. Also, I will say that I'm quite, well, I'm not sure if uncomfortable is the word, but yeah, uncomfortable, doing today's episode. Because again, if you followed my channel for some time, you will know that I tend to not discuss methods openly. I try my best, as far as possible to talk about method, but not talk about it. If you know, right? That sort of a thing. But today's episode, it's going to be quite impossible to do that because of the nature of the method, I think. And the creators, of Mental Voice have actually given me permission and have actually urged me, to be as open as possible and to just, show you guys exactly what Mental Voice is. I'm not sure if I'll be doing such episodes again in future because I don't really feel comfortable just openly talking about methods like that, all right? But yeah, well, here we are, and so here we go. So before I show you guys what Mental Voice is, all right, the prop itself, well, let's talk about the effect, all right? So Mental Voice is, shall we say, an effect, or rather a tool that allows you to create this kind of an effect, right? Where a spectator is stood up, standing on stage perhaps, and they have their fingers in their ears, they're just closing their eyes, just doing that, and then the effect, all right, is that they can hear a voice in their head, okay, telling them a piece of information. He apparently hears a voice in his mind, okay? And at the end, he reveals what he heard, and it apparently is, let's say a freely thought of thing, right? That another spectator has been thinking about. So Mental Voice, no surprise, is a BC device. Okay, it's a BC device, and it allows you to do just that, right? Create this effect of a spectator hearing a voice in their head, okay? Now, when I first came across this sort of tech, all right, this sort of idea as applied to magic and mentalism, this was years and years ago, all right, and I'm not sure the product name, but I read of a product that, well, it was kind of like a queuing device. I think it was built into a Sharpie, if I'm not wrong, and you could be doing, for example, a Q&A, writing stuff down on a clipboard with that Sharpie, and then whenever you needed help, all right, you just bit on the Sharpie like that, okay, in a kind of thinking kind of a pose, and your assistant, all right, would be able to just literally read stuff out to you. And because of the technology that's used, only you can hear it, nobody else can. So I was fascinated by that, and to me, all along, right, I always thought that this BC thing was really miraculous, in the sense that nobody else could hear it, only you can hear it, and it will sound like it's a voice in your head. Okay, so that's the impression I had when I first encountered the BC technology. So really briefly, what do you get when you purchase Mental Voice? Well, Mental Voice comes in a box like that. So inside the box, you will get the device. Okay, and again, I'm allowed to show the device on camera. The creators have been really open about this, and that's what the device looks like. All right, both front and back. Along with the actual unit itself, you will also get the Type-C cable for you to charge the device as well. So on top of the device itself, all right, you will also be given access to a tutorial video. The video runs for, I think, about 19 minutes or so. So on the video, there will be an overview given to you about the product itself, the various parts of the product, what it can do. They will teach you how to operate the device and also how to charge the device. And then they will teach you how to put in your own audio files. All right, so you can literally just customize whatever the spectator hears on your device, and it's done really simply. I'll talk about that in a while as well. There'll be a sample routine as well that'll be taught to you to give you an idea about how to use the device in performance, and then there are also some snippets, of the device used in live situations. So let's talk about the physical aspects, all right, of the prop itself, all right. So it's been compared in the ad copy many times to it being about the same size as a Morgan dollar, all right, a silver dollar, and which means it can be kind of held in the hand like that. Okay, now this is probably the position that you would use it in, okay, to kind of conceal it in, all right. And this, well, it kind of feels to me like Sonata gimmick. Okay, so yeah, it kind of reminds me about that. But lengthwise, yeah, I think it's about the size of a silver dollar. All right, so that will go in the palm just like that. And this is actually also a self-contained unit. Okay, meaning this is all you need to perform the effect with. Okay, you don't need any other devices with you. You don't need like a queuing device, a mobile device as well, because this has its own memory, which will enable you to kind of play your audio tracks directly from this unit. So all you need really is this on you, and you are ready to perform. One important aspect about this, which I've read, okay, again, I don't know, okay, but I've read that this has that other versions of this sort of thing doesn't have, is a volume control. All right, so over here, there is a little notch, all right, for volume, all right. So down is like the softest, and then when you push it all the way up, it gets it to the maximum volume. Okay, so this plate over here is actually the BC plate, okay, which you will need to have contact with your spectator, okay, in order for them to hear that voice in their head. The charging device is at the bottom. Okay, the C cable plug is over here. There is the on-off switch, and then there's a trigger button as well. Okay, so this all fits here into your palm. You can turn it on and off with one hand and trigger it with one hand as well, and control the volume as well, all with one hand. So I mentioned earlier that this unit has got its own memory space. Okay, and I believe, right, it has 16 megabytes of memory. Okay, which is a lot actually, because most voice files, right, are just going to be a couple of kilobytes, I think. So you will be able to store quite a bit of stuff inside here. Talking about putting in your custom voices, right, your voice files, it's really simple. You just connect it to your laptop. It's literally just a drag and drop into this unit itself, and it will play those files sequentially. Okay, meaning to say, when you load in the files into the folder that this opens up in your laptop, once you trigger this unit, it will play those files in sequence. Okay, so if let's say you have like a 5-second file, you trigger the thing, it will play that file for 5 seconds and then stop. To play the next file, you just trigger it again and it will automatically play the next file. Now, it will jump back to the original first file once it has gone through your whole playlist on the device. Well, to me, even though you can store many files, right, and it's 16 megabytes of space, you wouldn't want that, okay, because you would get lost, right? I mean, it'll be not practical to have 52 files, right? And then you trigger it and you're not sure where, which file it's playing, right? So I think anything from like 1 to 5 audio files is more than enough, I think, to make it a practical thing to use. I do know also that if you are triggering the device and it's playing one of the files, all right, in the middle of your list, and for some reason you want to jump back to the beginning, all you have to do is to just turn it off and turn it on again, and it will kind of reset itself. Okay, and from there you can trigger the first track once again. So that's it, that really is all I can say about the physical, prop itself, okay, for Mental Voice. Again, I don't feel very comfortable just showing the device like that and, talking about what it can do, because, I mean, after all, this is a kind of, publicly accessible platform, right? But I don't know, it might be the last time I agree to do such an episode, okay? So let's talk about the audio quality. When I tried it on myself, okay, because I was really excited, to kind of try this device on myself, right? Just to see and experience how it feels like, right? Does it really feel like a voice inside your head? Because I think it would be really interesting, right, to have a spectator, like do this on stage, and then they kind of hear this voice in their head, right? And then they reveal a piece of information that they couldn't possibly have known. When they head back to their seat, people are going to ask them, right? How did you know that the name was, Tom Cruise or whatever? And their answer would be, I heard a voice in my head, right? I think that really is quite a strong thing to have. So I thought, okay, let me try it out. And when I tried it out on myself, I don't know, it sounded like I was listening to a small speaker. There's no way for me to kind of demonstrate it for you on camera, right? But I kind of felt that I was listening to, how could I describe it? Like if you had like a pair of earbuds, at quite a high volume, and it's playing, an audio track, for example. It sounds like that, kind of like that, when you're holding it, like a short distance from you, you can still kind of hear the audio, right? So that is the experience I got. And I gave this feedback to Umesh, the creator, and he told me that you had to kind of have your ears plugged up, right, and just plug in your ears and then have the device in the correct position, right? There's a spot, apparently, like a sweet spot to place the device. So okay, I tried that, and well, yeah, it kind of improved. It felt more like something in my head, I suppose, but again, I guess it wasn't up to how I imagined it to be, right? This voice that appears in my head, and I can hear this voice and I don't know where it's from, right? But for me, it kind of felt like I was listening to earbuds, that kind of an experience. So I'm not sure how it will play for lay people, because again, I've got no experience performing this, and yeah, I don't know. The volume control was useful because I have a friend of mine, a fellow mentalist who performs here in Singapore. He does use another one of these products, and he has told me that sometimes it's a bit too soft, for the kind of environments that we work in, right, in the dinner kind of environment. So the volume control was useful, but there was a point where you have to find that sweet spot as well, where it's loud enough so that the person that you're doing it on can hear, but it's not loud to the point that people standing around can hear it as well. They will hear something. They will hear like a murmur or something like that. It's not completely silent. Again, I had this fantasy in my head, that this thing is so wonderful that nobody else can hear it. Only the person that you have it happen on, right? But that doesn't seem to be the case for me. I can still kind of hear it, even though I tried it on someone else. I could hear it myself, and that kind of worries me as well. If I were to be performing this in like a close-up situation, if there were other people around, I'm not sure if they would hear it as well. I am not sure if I would perform this. Okay, I'm not sure because again, I'm not confident with the unit in that it will work silently enough. You know, maybe I've not been, you know, able to kind of get the volume control to that sweet spot, but I'm not sure, you know, as to whether, you know, it can be heard by others around as well, because not forgetting, you know, I will be mic'd up, right? I have a microphone as well, so if I can hear it, I'm afraid, you know, it kind of goes through and they hear something, and it's just not the effect I'm going for, right? But okay, if the effect plays out exactly as intended, then yes, all right, I think it is a strong effect. Again, because I love the idea of the spectator going back to their seat and then telling people, right, that I don't know, I just heard a voice in my head, right? That effect to me is really cool, right? But again, I'm not sure if I can get the volume at that right level to ensure that only they can hear it. So one last point, all right? As excited as I am about having the possibility of this kind of an effect where the spectator goes back to their seat, having just revealed a piece of information that they couldn't possibly have known, you know, telling their friends, I don't know, I just heard this voice in my head, all right? If that works, it's beautiful, but I'm afraid of them going back saying, I don't know, I think he was holding like a small speaker of some kind and he just kind of let me listen to something, you know, and that kind of ruins the moment, right? So I don't know. Again, I really have no idea whether this will work as intended. You know, I think the concept is great. You know, I thought it was great right from the start, you know, when these devices started showing up in the market. But I have my doubts as to how you know, deceptive they are. But you know, if you are one of those performers who have been performing BC effects, you know, and if you've been happy with the kind of you know, effect that it creates, and you're confident that you can get it to work, then I can, you know, recommend you have a look at Mental Voice as well, because it is a really convenient little package, right? It just fits in the palm of your hand. You have control over, you know, volume, triggering, the on-off switch is all there. Charging is really convenient. Putting in your own files is really convenient as well. So yeah, you can have a look at this if you have some experience using BC devices. So that's all I have to say about Mental Voice, all right? If you'd like to pick up a copy of Mental Voice for yourselves, I do believe they are currently, at this point of shooting, sold out, all right? But they should be back in stock at the end of the year at all good magic shops, all right? I will leave maybe some links in the description box down below. So I'd like to thank Umesh over at Blackbox Magic Creations for very kindly sending me a copy of Mental Voice for me to have a look at and for me to chat about on this show. So that's all for today's episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, got something out of it as well. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification button as well, so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video on my channel. All right, but for now, do take care, stay safe, have fun with your magic and your mentalism, and I'll see you on a future episode of Nique Chats.